Welcome back to the Blindsiders. I am Ben, and I'm here with Brian to talk about episode 3 of Survivor 46. And, Dylan's not here, but his loss is our gain, Brian. I mean, he may be dead for all we know, but, that means that we get some more FaceTime on the podcast, so we should be happy.
Yeah, Banu actually prayed that Dylan wouldn't be on this episode, so, God came and put obstacles in Dylan's way, unfortunately.
He smote him down with prior obligations.
Man, so what an episode, Ben.
Yeah, I'm seeing this episode feels like very controversial from what I've seen online so far.
Okay.
I tried to look too because I don't like to have my own personal bias coming in, affected. But I loved it. I think whether you like the episode and whether you like the season as a whole so far really kind of comes down to whether you find Banu good TV.
Yeah, and with that said, I was very happy. Raiden, he seems like a great guy. It sucks that he got pulled and it wasn't an actual what was it, a bulging disc was what the doctor thought it might be. It sucks that he got pulled for basically nothing. That's very sad. However, as a fan of good TV, Banu he's a 10, right? Like, he's delivering everything I could possibly ask for from a Survivor character. So if this is what it took to keep him around for another episode, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, look, this comes down again to people complaining about things and then getting mad when they get what they want, where people are complaining that the new era is casting too many game bots. And it's okay, we're going to cast somebody who is aggressively horrible at Survivor in the most obscene way possible. Multiple people on the season you could describe that about. But with Banu in particular, his entire thing is he's almost like a tragic monkey paw style character where he's I want to change a million hearts, but most people I would say who are watching find him to be obnoxious.
I thought you were gonna say just monkey paw in terms of just getting on Survivor, and then this is what happens.
Yeah,
because that's something I've personally always worried about. What if I go on Survivor and everyone's like, this guy's a lunatic, which not unfair, but wouldn't want that to happen,
Well, I mean, we had a segment where we had Hunter show his 40,000 fan-made Survivor challenges, which me and you can appreciate.
Yeah, I was like, it looks like my garage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it looks like every storage for every LRG I've participated in or helped with. Yeah,
this is normal behavior that everyone exhibits, right? This is fine, and why are they even highlighting this?
Yeah, but I mean, compared to Hunter should be thanking his lucky stars that he was put up in the episode against Banu. Because compared to Banu, he looks like a normal, well-adjusted human being. So.
Yeah, I think Hunter, it's just he's the perfect man, except the one flaw is he's just way too into Survivor. But, that's fine because, that's far from my only flaw. I wish that were my only flaw.
Yeah, exactly. I would be chilling if that was my only flaw,
Yeah, I wish I'd gotten into med
one
school
of many.
And turned it down to be a teacher in some fucking Hallmark ass turn of events.
But yeah, I don't know. This season feels very monkey paw-esque in general. We talked about the same thing with episode 1 with Jelinski, where he's I'm going to come in and I'm going to be a legend. And then he has this Drew Christie-esque kind of fall where he's a legend in all of the worst ways.
Yeah. Basically, I'm a badass.
Yeah, exactly. And a manipulator at this game. Yeah, that's Jelinski is the monster. Yeah. Yeah. Again, very Gabon-esque with the feeling almost like a parody of Survivor, an MTV style parody of Survivor.
Right.
the whole season so far. And yeah, like I agree with Randon. I was excited to see where the Randon and Venus kind of storyline went, where it's like this marriage of convenience, and they both kind of like tacitly dislike each other, or like at least are like a bickering married couple almost at best.
Yeah, I feel we were robbed of an interesting dynamic for sure.
Yeah,
it sucks. But I think what sucks more is we need to do something here, Jeff. We need to let people pass their advantages to their allies on the way out.
Yeah, well, okay. I think that I understand why in this case he couldn't do it, because he doesn't actually have an advantage. Right now he has a disadvantage. So like how do you will like it's essentially like the pre-com of an advantage.
Oh boy.
like he's lost his vote, but he hasn't even like done step 2 out of 3 in order to get it back.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I don't know how that would like logistically work.
Yeah. Do you think that the Orange Tribe's idol is gone out of the game now, or do you think they'll rehide the initial clue?
I could see them rehiding the like initial beware advantage. They would have to, I assume, dig up the box, put it in a new spot, like rebury it in a new spot, and then hide the beware advantage above it again. So I don't know if they'll go through all of that effort, but maybe they will. Because like it would definitely help like Venus to know that like maybe she should go out and look just in case they do that. I had just assumed that they was gonna be dead.
Yeah, I don't have a strong feeling one way or another. I could see them going either way with it, you know. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see there. But yeah, unfortunate for Venus. She's lucky Hunter's on her tribe, I guess. And you were saying before we were on this, you don't think there's going to be a swap this season. So eventually that luck might run out if we get down to enough players. I don't know. Do you think Banu's tribe, was it Yanu?
Yanu.
Yeah.
Banu on Yanu.
Wow. Do you think Yanu, I don't know, do you think they have a fighting chance in any challenge? I mean, if they didn't win this, Hunter's just such a beast. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, they definitely had a fighting chance in this one. Like, I didn't expect Charlie to clutch out that beanbag toss at the end.
Right.
Like, I think it probably just came down to like Q and Tiffany, who were probably the two who seemed the best at it, were just super gassed by that point in the challenge. So I don't know. It doesn't help that they don't have a fire, that they're probably not like really eating, and like they're probably not sleeping as well. Like it didn't seem like anyone sleeping super well, but them in particular seemed like they're sleeping extra poorly. They basically abandoned their shelter and were like, hey, let's just sleep under this rocky outcrop for the night and see if that works.
Return of a cave on Survivor. We haven't seen people living in caves in so long.
Yeah, it's been quite a bit.
Probably most famously Micronesia, right? And then I guess Palau, that was the same cave, right? That was the
same cave. Yep, same beaches.
So I mean, there just probably hasn't been many cavey beaches since then.
Yeah. Or maybe just like, no other tribe has struggled that much to make a shelter.
To want to live in a cave.
Yeah.
I feel like it wouldn't be too bad. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, the reason one of the main reasons you make a shelter is to like get off the wet ground and like bugs and stuff. Like those are the main reasons. And then obviously like rain, like getting cover from the rain. So like a cave has most of that, and as long as it's not like a super like buggy cave, like it's probably not significantly worse than just a shelter.
Right. Yeah, I guess it'll be interesting to see if they stay there, if they go back to the shelter, because we're at least hanging out with it when Jeff arrived later.
Yeah. Well, they strategize in the shelter, but it's not good enough to to
I
sleep
think
in, I
it
guess.
was raining a lot, right? That was
Yeah, I think they just had a storm, which is why
yeah,
the reward would have been really nice for them.
right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's kind of like, we talked about this format, the new era in general, especially with them losing their Flint over and over again. It just kind of leads to this.
Have they even won their Flints?
No, they have not. They have never had their Flint.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've come in third place in all 4 challenges they've done. So, and all 4 challenges have had the same first, second, third. Like it's always been what is it? Nami, Siga, Yano, 1, 2, 3. So
crazy.
I mean, is it though? I don't know.
Yeah, no, this is typical of the new era, typical of the 3 tribe format.
Mm-hmm.
It has to end, Ben. It has to be over. We have to just do 2 tribes.
Yeah, and this is kind of a parallel issue from what we talk about with Big Brother, where you like these shows thrive on the game being like having high variance in good ways, not in ways where like it's unpredictable and people are just playing randomly.
Right.
But a lot of the variance, like the natural variance, comes from challenges and competitions. And if you have smaller tribes, the variance for how those tribes are going to be performing is going to like ultimately be lower, because you have less opportunities for people and tribes to be good at things. You're going to have sit outs, which are able to like really narrow down like a select few people who are not going to drag the team down, etc. And this is what we've seen on Big Brother in modern times that we talked about ad nauseum, which is like low variance in challenge and competition outcomes leads to more boring and predictable seasons and gameplay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if they're worried about the gender dynamic being off on one tribe or another, I mean, they've done plenty of seasons with 18 people, with one tribe with 4 and one with 5 of either gender. Mm-hmm. Just do men versus women then. If you like, that's fine too. We've had 3 of those seasons. I guess 4 if you want to count Panama, where it was like old, young men and women. So like, I mean, that only lasted one. That lasted one thing. And they're like, this might not be a good thing.
Well, then they were like, 4-person tribes really is not sustainable.
No, this is an immediate mistake.
Yeah.
Off the rip. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like, just do something, please. Shake it up. Jeff, I know you like claim you're like so reinvigorated about Survivor these days after the pandemic, but like this stuff makes it feel like he's checked out. This makes it seem like we're just letting it run, same place every year, similar tribe colors every season, same format every season. Just let it keep going until no one watches anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean they could always even just go back to like if we're gonna have 26 days, like you could do a cast of 16 and it would be fine, and then you wouldn't have to do.
Love it. That'd be great.
Yeah, you would be able to like merge later, merge at like even 11. If at least if not like old style Survivor was 16, merge at 10. And then jury starts at 9, but they can even do a merge at 11 if they want. Like
the perfect format. Yeah, let's just go back to that.
Yeah,
identical games, merge and pre-merge, or 7 pre-merge, 7 merge boots, final 2 can't tie. They had it, Ben. It was all in their hand.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I think like if they want to keep, obviously we're not going back to the final 2. But so
it's so messed up because like Tocantins is one of the greatest seasons, and it literally was like we're kind of going back to basics. Well, I'm just saying because that was a 16-person season,
sure, yeah,
and a final 2. Like they've done it in, I know it's not modern era, this is ancient history at this point, but at the time, they had gone away from it and they went back and they're like, oh, this game still works perfectly. Let's never do it again.
Yeah, well, ever since the Final 3 was implemented, there's been 3 Final 2 seasons, and all 3 of them are like well-regarded seasons.
Right.
But so, like, it's not like you could say, oh, it's just a coincidence, but like it's not like entirely a coincidence.
No, definitely
because
not.
like all 3 of those like Final 2 matchups are really compelling and like create really interesting end games. So yeah, I don't know, but like we're obviously not going back to Final 2. So if they want to do like a tribe of or a cast of 16, merge at 11, start jury at 11, and then do like the 8-3 that they've been doing recently. If they're like that's what they're, they love the even numbered juries for some reason, so that's what they want to do.
I love the threat of the tie to have that moral moment of having to cast this deciding vote.
Yeah.
I mean, that was compelling, sure, but
I mean, it was like it was compelling in that like it was the first time it ever happened, but like as soon as it was announced that that's how it worked, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, Wendell." It was no like
Wendell.
air over who's gonna win. Like everyone's like, "Oh yeah, obviously she's gonna vote for Wendell to win."
It's more like putting someone in that position. It's kind of fucked, but awesome.
Yeah.
Like wow, I guess you decide.
Like I guess it could have been interesting if like Austin had gotten one more vote last season, right? For Jake to be in that position. I think he said in the post show that he would have voted for D, so it wouldn't have really changed the outcome.
Right.
But still. But yeah, I don't know. On a little bit of a tangent, complaining about the format again.
Listen, if people are on this ride at this point, they know what they're getting.
Yeah.
2 curmudgeons.
All right, so let's get into Banu's first of like 4 breakdowns, which is him not understanding the fake idol. And not understanding that like if anybody was like protected by that play, it was him.
Right. Yeah, man. He's just going through it so hard in this episode, and I feel bad for him for sure. But I saw a thing where someone was like, "What is he supposed to do? He's down 3-1." So I mean, he put himself very firmly into this position. Like, I feel bad for him that he put himself there, but I don't feel bad because he put himself there.
Yeah, I guess like how would you play this if you were like an optimal Survivor player and not Banu?
Oh, so I feel like it'd be weird to be in a position like this. So I've never really considered this. I've considered being voted out first of something. I've never really considered being like, on the outs of a pre-merge tribe like this.
Yeah.
I would
if you're good at Survivor.
Right. My move would be, and this is so weird because this is not Banu at all. So it's like, I feel like I could tell him my plan and he wouldn't be able to do it at all. But if I was in his position and I wasn't Banu, I was myself, I would go to Q. I would play on his like, well, he feels like, I'm Philip, you're Boston Rob. Play into that. Be like, I'm so loyal to you. Like, I would never, ever go against you. And I'm gonna try so hard in challenges. And like Kenzie, I don't think she's as good as me at challenges. So on top of that, she's also a very savvy player. She also approached Jess and I to vote you off last round. I didn't want to do that, so the plan blew up. But like, she's already now thinking about stabbing you in the back. So all I can offer, I know I'm on the outs, is I'm going to be loyal to you till the end, and Kenzie's not. That's what I would pitch to Q. And Q, I think, has enough pull with Tiff to be like, I think we should do this, and Tiff would potentially go with it. It's hard though because Tiffany's also with Kenzie, but I mean, I would just try to plant the seeds of like, Kenzie, she's out for herself more than you are, Tiffany, more than she's out for you, Q. She will take the first life raft off the sinking ship, Yanu, and I won't. I will go down with the ship. I'll go down with you.
Yeah, I think there's, I think that also the argument that came to mind for me, I assume part of why Q considers the play at all is because right now, as we stand, Tiffany is like in the best position in the tribe.
Yes,
even without her idol, and then she also has an idol. And the way that Q usurps that position is by pulling Banu in and by getting rid of Kenzie. That like cuts off Tiffany's like fulcrum position, and it like puts Q into that position instead.
Yeah, exactly. Because like you just be like, listen, Q, be honest with me. Do you think Tiffany's going to vote you off? No. Do you think I'm going to vote you off? No. Do you think Kenzie's going to vote you off? I think she will. And I think you think she will too, and try to pitch it like, yeah, you'll be in the best position. Like if that's how it shakes out, like you already have my word. I will vote Tiffany off before I vote you off. So, and Tiffany probably the same thing. But Banu would never do this.
Yeah, I know, of course. Like this is a thought exercise.
The Matrix where they could like download, like that. It would literally take that. Yeah,
download being good at Survivor.
Yeah, that's the only thing that could possibly save him at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so maybe. Here's what I'm visualizing, right? Here is the way Banu can win this season if we're gonna play this out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please. People come back from worse, allegedly. I don't personally think so, but
first of all, he has to make the merge. Either by Yanu actually, not coming last in every challenge, or maybe they come in last and this plan against Kenzie actually does follow through in one of those votes, and he's able to make the merge. He's basically, I think, a pretty easy lock as a final 3-0 vote GOAT, right? I would say so. I think like there's just never going to be an opportunity in the post merge where you're like, we have to vote out Banu. He's like, he's such a threat. And then bitter jury, and he gives like a really heartfelt speech.
Yeah. I mean, he pulls out the like, when I immigrated to America, the very first thing I did was apply to Survivor, and I thought I was going to be good at it, but I wasn't. I struggled hard. But through this game, I think I discovered myself and I became a better player. Like, yeah, I can see that working if the jury is very bitter.
Yes, they would have to be like it'd
have to be like one of those situations where it's like, I need any reason to not vote for the other two finalists. So if you give me even a crumb, I will like jump on that.
Yeah, it would be like this is kind of making me my mind immediately went to like Romeo,
right?
Who like I think like if Marianne was like bad at Survivor, Romeo could have won maybe, but like because like I think like if Marianne had choked to the degree that Mike choked in that finals, like there's like a non-zero chance Romeo wins, right?
Right.
Like that's kind of the path that he would have to weave.
Yeah. Fortunately, Marianne just kind of steamrolled the final tribal council, so there's no shot. But so I think, I mean, sure, there's like a 1% shot at this current moment in time that Banu wins, and if he does, I'll be very happy to clip this out and be like, I was a non-believer, and whatever happened after this episode must have converted me to a true believer.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't be the first New Era winner to like demonstrate in the pre-merge a non-understanding of basic Survivor strategy and then still go on to win. Yeah, I guess you want to talk about? I guess we kind of mostly covered the challenge.
Well,
Do you want to just
I have
dive?
one more thing to add for Bonner.
Okay.
If anyone watching this finds themselves in a similar position to Banu, you have to also just not be weird about it. You have to like suck it up, and you have to just like portray yourself as like a hardworking, humble, happy to be there. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do whatever I can for our little group. I don't think the pulling people to the well and being like, "What can I do? Please, I'll do anything." It is gonna work, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it still might work. Incidentally, because Q is like that gung ho about getting Kenzie out.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't. And I don't like. I'm not convinced that Q getting Kenzie out is correct. I can see an argument either way. It's definitely not correct for Tiffany. So like, Q is definitely going to have to convince Tiffany to do something that's like blatantly against her best interests in order to pull it off. Which I don't know if he actually can. But yeah, no, that whole well conversation was just bad overall. I do think that like I do think Q handled the conversation well, like as well as he could have. And like, I know people were clowning on him for being like, "You're a liability, but I'm going to make you into my Philip Shepard to my Boston Rob." And it's like, I don't know if Banu is like self-aware enough to realize that that Q is like shitting on him basically. And two, like, it's not the worst to like call somebody like, from like a macro perspective, it's not the worst, because like, if somebody calls me a liability that they want to turn into an asset and says, "You can be my Philip Shepard," in my head I'm thinking, "Oh, this guy's an idiot. I can completely like pull the wool over his eyes.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna go along with this."
Yeah, it felt a lot better than I'm trying to think, Sherry telling Shamar that he's gonna be her Philip Shepard. That felt dumb in the moment.
Well, you have to do it. It can only work with somebody who's like not who like isn't gonna get in their ego about it, one, and somebody who is like self-aware enough to realize that the person who's telling that to them is wrong. Like, kind of, you know, like the Jerry or the Sandra on HBV, right? Where Russell is like telling them, "Oh, I don't think that, you know, you can beat me. So I'm gonna like take you to the end." And you know, Sandra is like, "I don't know about that," right? Sandra's able to like swallow her ego to a degree. Like, she's still like, you know, is openly hostile towards Russell a lot, but she's able to like,
she purges that.
Yeah. But she's able to, at least from like a game perspective, swallow her ego and like allow Russell to like steer her into a win.
Right.
So yeah, it takes a specific type of person for it to work. And like, Banu might be that person, or he might be like so not self-aware that it doesn't matter.
Right. Do you think like the scale for like someone comparing, it's like Steven JT, that's like the high water mark of like, yeah, you want someone to be like, we're gonna be like Steven and JT, and then Robin Phillips like the low water mark. Then Denise and Malcolm's like closer to Steven and JT. They didn't get to the end together, but they worked really efficiently together. You know, I think we maybe someday we can, Dom and Wendell, that's right up there with Steven and JT. So like, yeah, actually I think if someone said to me, I want to be, you know, the Dom to your Wendell or vice versa, that would actually probably be like the best, because like, all right, this person not only wants to go to the end with me, but they see me as a competent potential, you know, threat to win at the end, but they still want to go to the end with me, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, I think the lead that gets buried when people talk about being the next Steven and JT is that Steven wanted to take JT out in the end, right? And just didn't have an opportunity to.
Exactly. Whereas like, I really loved in a podcast, Wendell talked about like, obviously the thought crossed his mind like I might need to get rid of Dom, but there just was never an opportunity where like it was going to be a good move for him to take Dom out. You know, he felt like they were basically back to back together, like, you know, doing like a shootout, like trying to just get to the end together, which I thought was a really great way to put it, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been in a similar situation, like when I played in an LRD once, and like I got lambasted for it, like, oh, why did you not take this person out so you would be able to claim sole responsibility? And I'd be like, I mean, there was no opportunity where it made sense.
Yeah, you don't want to be the Ricard.
Yeah.
You know? You know, so yeah, I think sorry, I kind of derailed it, but I just wanted to get that there, and I think it went to a good point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think I agree. I think, like, you know, if we're going to be doing this, referencing Survivor Past as a way to, like, you know, as a way to convince somebody to do something, you know, you gotta know the tools in your tool belt.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so you want to talk about the scene? You want to talk about the journey? Well, I would say the scene of the episode.
Yeah, I think it was fun to get to know Ben a little bit more, and just like he's what you think he is. I guess he's just like a rocker. Like that's his character. He instead of being like that's too bad or that's great, he said that rocks or that doesn't rock, which is hilarious.
Yeah, he's upset that he hasn't been able to listen to Van Halen, and he's like praying to Nicolas Cage for some reason. I didn't really get that part.
Of all people, but
yeah, I
like Nicolas Cage. I'm into it.
Yeah, I guess it kind of fits the like. It doesn't fit obviously the rocker side, but yeah, it kind of fits the like overall like persona.
You're right.
But yeah, I don't know. This went exactly how I expected it to.
I didn't think that Banu had the constitution to put together. I mean, it looks like a difficult puzzle. Like if you're good at puzzles like that, sure. No, but like
that puzzle is easy if you know how it works.
Right. Yeah. It's like that one that Spencer did, you know, in Second Chance in like 2 seconds. Like it's so easy if you just know what you're doing.
Yeah. So it's 6 2x2 squares, and then it's 3 1x1 cubes. And the trick is you literally just have to make sure the 1x1 cubes form a diagonal through the center of the cube, like from one corner to the very opposite corner. And then the square is basically just like fit in, you know, pretty naturally.
So it's like 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube in a diagonal.
Yes. So from if you hold the cube like
this,
if you hold the cube like this with 1 point here and 1 point here, and like you're able to spin it like this.
Yeah.
The cubes go 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Okay, cool. This is good to know for future Survivor players or probably LRG players too.
If you know that trick, you can solve the puzzle in like 10 seconds flat. Like it's not hard. Yeah. But obviously neither of them had seen this puzzle before. But like I had this puzzle when I was growing up, so I knew how it worked.
Yeah, I do think like, you know, there's obviously like the Survivor meta of like print out or make the challenges that existed before. That's definitely great, but like I feel like these sell like puzzles like this.
They
like,
do,
you know, a bunch of different, you know, puzzles like
this.
They'll just give you a different like spatial awareness of how things can fit together, which would be like a great thing to just like go on Amazon and buy a bunch of them before you go on Survivor, just so you have your mind working in that way. Because if you don't, this puzzle's impossible in the time limit, anyways.
Yeah, well, you can probably get lucky and get it if you don't know how it works. But if you know how it works, again, like it's like super easy. Like you just do that, boom, boom, like it just falls together.
Basically, just try to shop at oh god, not the Genius, the other show by the Genius creator.
Oh, the Devil's Plan.
Yeah, the Devil's Plan. Just buy like in bulk the type of puzzle that they had in the jail for that show.
Morris. Oh yeah, the jail ones. Yeah, the like the metal loop puzzles.
Just get your mind working in a different way. Speaking of Ben, don't want to go too much of a tangent. I sent it to you on Twitter. I don't know if you saw David Tennant hosting the Genius UK.
Oh, are they actually doing the Genius UK?
Yeah.
Okay. When is that? Okay, I deleted Twitter, so I didn't delete the
no.
account. I deleted the app, so
That's smart. But
that's why if I haven't responded on Twitter, that's why.
So they're doing a Genius UK, and David Tennant's going to be the host. I was like, this is made for you. It's like the best.
That's right up my alley.
Yeah, so that'll be exciting.
I'm still waiting for the Genius US because I will 100%.
If they have it, we got to start a social media campaign for you to get on. Because I think you'd do great at it, and I think it'd be so fun to see you on a show like that.
Yeah.
Then we can go on the Amazing Race together.
Yeah, no, that's my shit. I hope they port it to the US Netflix so I don't have to go digging. But I have a VPN, so I'll figure it out if they don't.
Ready. Oh man, but yeah. So I think there's just no chance that Bonner is going to beat a puzzle like this.
No.
Especially when he couldn't do it in probably a minute. He definitely just started panicking, and he's having a rough go out there. He wasn't gonna pull it together for this.
Yeah. I don't know. It's sad. Again, just buy I think Think Fun or Brain Fun or something like that. There's a brand of these these types of puzzles. You can literally buy them for $20 on Amazon. Most of them are very easy to memorize how they work. And it's just because they have a trick to them. It's kind of like the 5-piece tangrams where the tiny square has to nudge into a corner of the one that goes like that. There's So I don't know. Don't go on Survivor without learning basic, repeated puzzles.
Yeah, exactly. Also, get some bean bags and toss them onto small tables. Helpful.
Yeah, knot untying. There's a lot of very easily practicable skills.
Run on a beach. Find a beach near you and run on the sand.
Yeah.
And just get the feel for it,
Yeah. Obviously swimming and stuff. There's a lot of
Yeah, if you go on Survivor and you're not hitting up the Y every, couple days, what are you doing out there?
Yeah. I mean, look, Survivor is it's the one time where you should be doing almost only cardio.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, unless you're gonna be as giant as Jonathan or James, where your strength is just such an incredible asset to the point where it can break challenges. There's not really much of an advantage to being jacked on Survivor.
There really isn't. It's more of just general athleticism than strength. They don't really
he's ripped, but he's not super jacked.
Yeah, they don't really do the I guess whatever you do, a squat bar one where they put weights on the
I think people just got permanent injuries from that, and they're this is kind of a dumb challenge.
I think they just realized they hit the limit of human abilities, and they were okay, we're not going to be breaking any more records, so it's not really going to be interesting anymore.
Right.
It was interesting when every subsequent time they did it, it was oh, you broke the previous record, but not anymore.
Right. Oh man. So I think just get into do a lot of calisthenics, and you get your cardio up. You'll do fine.
Do your squats like Lil.
Right. Practice yoga.
Yeah.
Yoga's I feel much bigger now than it was then too. So there's plenty of classes.
Yeah, jigsaw puzzles, word puzzles, word scramble puzzles, and then just brain teasers and slide puzzles. Always a classic.
Yeah, true.
I think they've done fewer slide puzzles recently. I think because everyone practices for them.
Yeah, there's only so many. You can only make them so big when it's just not really worth it anymore.
Yeah.
But I did I think it was Worlds Apart when they did the one where you kept moving it and then getting a piece free, and then it kept building into the next one and next one. That was cool. That was probably the apex of that type of a puzzle.
Yeah. So we had Banu breakdown, and Spill all of his tribe secrets for the most part, or his perspective on their tribe secrets, because I don't know how accurate his portrayal is. I think it's definitely tinged by his own like emotional view with the mermaid and the dragon of it all.
Unfortunately for his tribe mates, it doesn't really matter if it's the truth, because
Yeah.
this is going to be the narrative when a swap or a merge comes anyways.
Well, see, the issue now is Bandu's kind of painted himself into a corner, because if he's calling Kenzie a mastermind to everybody else in the game, basically by proxy of Ben and Liz, and then like they lose again, and Q and Tiffany do pull this move and vote out Kenzie, like that's going to look bad on him, because now it's going to be like, oh wow, Banu flips the game on the mastermind. What a like a genius strategist he is. Like he either lied straight to our faces and put on this like, you know, this Oscar-worthy performance. Yeah. Or he was able to flip the tribe completely on the person who was running it within the course of a few days. So like either way, that makes him look super threatening when like it shouldn't, because he has no agency at all.
No, totally agree. So I guess it'll be interesting to see if he can even make a merge. It's so far out. We're at the final 15. Oh, we're at the final 15, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just get through 2, I guess, but like that still feels like a tall order.
It is a tall order, yeah, when they're that bad at challenges, yeah.
Yeah. Like at least 2 people get out of this mess and make the merge. That's fun.
Mm-hmm. I guess like the only, you know, one of his, maybe his saving grace is Jem wants her idol, and like, you know, maybe she talks to Mariah and the 2 of them are able to like throw a challenge if it's like those 2 and 2 others. Like, you know, Ben's lost his vote, even though the tribe doesn't necessarily know he has, but they can surmise he might have at least. You know, Maria has her extra vote. So Maria and Charlie have an enormous amount of power now. They can pull in one person and have a majority without even using Maria's extra vote now. So I don't know. Maybe Siga has a challenge throw. I don't know. We'll see. I think that's the only way that Yano doesn't go to at least one of the next 2 tribals.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. I was hoping for a swap, but that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I thought foolishly maybe that they would just follow the same exact cycle and twists. But now I'm worried we're not going to see Jeff stab a bag of rice this season, which I was looking forward to.
Never going to say never. Maybe he does it even more. Maybe he does like an even crazier version of it.
He gets the bag and like pretends to slit its throat in front of everyone. That'd be something.
But yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a swap. I guess what are your thoughts on the one scene we really got from Siga, other than Ben explaining the Banu breakdown, which is talking about the genius and the genius and Devil's Plan editing style akin to those shows, where they did a 4-day flashback to Jem finding the Beware advantage.
I know. It was just so interesting, because they were just like, well, we have to include the Taylor Swift thing last episode.
Yeah.
We can't leave that on the floor, so I guess we'll just have to move the idol finding to the next episode, because this tribe doesn't have shit going on.
Well, yeah. Well, that makes me think that like they're not going to go to tribal next episode, right? Because like
I don't think so.
If they were
Hannah reading the fine print of like, which I think was a question we had on the last episode, right? Where it's like, what if you never go to tribal council? Do you just get your idol or vote? But she read that like more information will be given at that point. So,
well, traditionally with the Beware advantages, they expire at the merge, which is why we saw last season Bruce like rushing last second to find the idol with like 5 seconds on the game clock.
A lot of good it did him.
Yeah. But yeah, so traditionally it expires at the merge or the Murgatory. I think the wording on the parchment is like when everyone is living on the same beach, which they have to say because they don't consider the merge a merge.
Yeah, you gotta earn it now.
So yeah, I would assume that the idol just becomes dead if they don't lose, if Seika doesn't lose one of the next two. Which is interesting. We'd be going into a merge with one idol in play, which is uncommon for the new era.
Yeah, I do prefer that they did how they did it last season, where there weren't like any conditions on winning or losing. It was just like a multi-tier process to get it. I think that's more in the spirit of the Hidden Immunity Idol, personally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as easy as sticking your hand in a tree and pulling it out, but at least adds a little bit to it.
I don't necessarily mind the requiring you to lose to get it, because it does create like this tension where somebody on the tribe potentially wants to throw the challenge, and it also means that it doesn't guarantee 3 idols make the merge, and it also makes it so the tribes that presumably have lost more are more likely to enter the merge with an idol, which is what we might see here if Yanu enters with 2 to 3 people, but they have an idol and the other tribes don't. I don't know.
Could be interesting.
It passes the sniff test of twist design, which is you want twists to benefit the people who are on the bottom or the people in the minority, without helping the people in the majority if they happen to get a hold of it. So I don't mind it.
Yeah, we'll see. That's all I really have for this one.
Yeah, definitely. We did see Banu come back and tell a half truth.
Yeah, I really enjoyed his lie. He was walking with the backpack. It reminded me of a dejected child coming home from school.
It reminded me of the George Michael gif from Arrested Development.
That's so good. That's such a good pull. Yeah, it's exactly the same energy.
Yeah. And I liked how he had a lie but didn't really think it all the way through and didn't really have answers to the questions, adequate answers. But because of his personality, they didn't really find it that abnormal.
Yeah, they're okay, seems legit, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like how he also basically didn't want to say the lie himself, so he was trying to coax them into coming up with the lie for him and then just agreeing to it. Right. So he was you could guess what happened to me, and they're like, what, you pulled the white rock and got sent home?
Right.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Oh man, I also did enjoy Jeff emerging from the jungle.
Hey guys,
it's much better than him pulling up in the boat. When he just comes out of the jungle, it's he's an island spirit almost.
He's a monster.
Yeah. He's I think he got a black shirt. He's the man in black just walking out of the jungle.
Mm-hmm. So does that mean Dr. Will is Jacob?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. How to consider who Jacob would be.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to make this crazy analogy make as little sense as possible.
I think Phil from The Amazing Race is Jacob if Jeff's the man in black.
Yeah.
I think it works.
Yeah. So what were your when CBS reality fans were clamoring for to see Dr. Will blindside somebody come back in 2024 and blindside somebody, this was not what they were expecting.
No, this is not. I was like, oh man, I'm sorry, you have to change your name, Dr. Will. There's already a Dr. Will in reality TV. There's not room for two.
On the same network, even, you know,
on
you
the same network.
Yeah. This is just like, you know, you just go by Bill, William, like there's, you know, come on, like
your last name, even like a normal doctor.
Like, I mean, they couldn't have, you know, they couldn't hire somebody new. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. You're really infringing upon your own IP here, CBS.
Yeah, that was very strange when I heard Dr. Will, and it's like, but it's not the good doctor, or I guess the evil doctor.
The evil doctor, yeah. Yeah, he has made a reality TV appearance on a different network.
Yeah, I wish he would have actually played the traitors and not been a guest star, but I guess we'll take the scraps that Dr. Will gives us these days.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a super rich plastic surgeon. I don't need this. I'll come and, like, you know, give you a little bit, but I'm not.
He'll be a Big Brother next door neighbor, and he'll come in and he'll you know, host a jury roundtable for an episode. Yeah, whatever he can do with like as little effort as possible, and film in like an hour. Yeah,
which, you know, that's the dream.
Yeah,
quite frankly. Yeah, that's why he's the GOAT.
I mean, you know, like, okay, was Dr. Will's appearance fee more or less than the amount of money that CT and Trishelle split? Like, they each won.
That's a great question. I mean, it probably wasn't a cheap appearance fee.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, because we're talking like what, like $100,000 is what they each won about.
Yeah, but you gotta fly Will out first class, of course, if not private.
Yeah.
So it adds up.
Yeah. No, I was gonna make a you know, and they only got $60,000 after Obama takes this cut joke, but that makes me thought of when Banu said that he's not out here for $1 million, he's out here for you know, 1 million hearts, and I was like, well, it's only 600,000 hearts after Obama takes this cut.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Man. Personally, I would love if someone said that I'm not out for $1 million on Survivor, because I'd be like, that's great, because I am here for $1 million.
Basically what we had in episode 1 with Kevin and Liz.
Right. Yeah, that's bad, because it's like braggadocious, and then being like, oh, I'm so rich, I don't need this, you know.
I mean, we kind of did see that, though. Like, it didn't work for people in 43, right? Because, like, Gabler basically said, like, I don't need the money. I'm not here for the money. I'm going to donate it all. And it's like, okay. I mean, he still won. So it's not foolproof.
It's true. It's very true. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm of the mind that, like, if you go into any of these games and people are like, I don't really care about winning, love it. That's what I want to hear. You know, I'd much rather these people not want to win.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I would definitely go in and be like, I'm here for 1, the title, and then 2, the money, right?
Right.
I would definitely play these. I want to play these games to win, because I want the, like, legacy and the title. But you know, I also want the money.
Yeah, I want to see my name up there, you know, with all the other winners. Yeah, get the championship banner.
I want, like, you know, psychos like us to have to memorize my name,
right?
You know, to demonstrate that they're really super fans by listing off every winner.
Oh man, but yeah. So I think next episode should be good. I don't know why people are seemingly not as into this season. I'm liking it a lot. Personally, I expected it to be very Gabon-ish, and it has been so far.
Yeah,
love it. Here for that.
I mean, I think that, like, people are disliking it for the same reasons that people have and do dislike Gabon, which is not particularly compelling strategy. Although I think Gabon did have, like, some interesting strategy that gets overlooked. But, you know, I would agree, not a lot of interesting strategy so far. And relatively unlikable cast.
Yeah, I was going to say these people suck.
Yeah.
It's great.
So, and like nothing has really happened so far. Like nothing has like it's just been a lot of like plate setting.
Mm.
It's been like very like obnoxious plate setting. So I can understand if like the the scenes that are happening aren't doing it for you, not really like enjoying the meal.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it, and I'm very excited to see where this goes because I have no idea. Like who wins the season? I couldn't even like begin to guess.
Mm.
Like
Yeah, because like if people are like, oh, it's like predictable, like Charlie's a front runner, Maria's a front runner. It's like episode 3, you would have thought that Charlie was gonna win that, right? Not Charlie, Marcus.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
look, yeah, I do think ironically,
Maybe Charlie could have been the
I think
yeah.
Maria might be the Marcus, and Charlie might be the Charlie.
Right. But they were the first two merge boots, so
yeah. Well, I think that like
or
I think on a normal season, yeah, I would be saying like, yeah, Maria and Charlie are the front runners based off of like how I see things playing out. But also, I don't think Maria was even on screen this episode. And
no,
then,
zero confessionals.
And then on top of that, like the content we've gotten from Sega so far has been them like saying Taylor Swift and Metallica songs, and then an Idol search from 4 days ago.
Right.
Like maybe they're just not strategizing because they don't have to. Like, and they're like would be like the Luvu, I think is the name of the tribe. And we won't really get to know a lot of them until post merge, and then post merge, most of them will like blossom into much bigger characters. And they're just kind of focusing on that. Like they're basically telling the like why Yanu loses story now, and then they'll move to the why Nami loses story, and then we're left with Sega, and we're like, okay, now we're going to tell the story of like why this person on Sega wins.
Yeah, because I mean, Sega just they haven't lost anybody, and they haven't had to play the game yet. So, I mean, it's just how it is right now. It's fine. It'll be okay. I promise this season will be good.
Yeah, well, I don't want to promise that.
Yeah. Let me backtrack. I don't want to promise anything, but I have a feeling that this will be good because I've been enjoying it so far.
Yeah, it's unique in an era where there's a lot of sameness. Like I appreciate the fact that there are characters this season that I don't really feel like I've seen on Survivor before. And they're playing Survivor in a way that is creating like new scenarios that I've never seen. Like, nobody has really ever acted how Banu acts to the degree he is. Like the closest comparison I've seen is Ty. And like even Ty had more strategic foresight than Banu. Like he had like at least a little bit of strategic foresight and understanding. Whereas Banu is just like pure raw emotion. He's like was it Despair from Inside Out? Like the sadness one. Like it's just like the raw emotion of sadness with like no logical filter from like moving from his thoughts and feelings to his actions and words.
Right.
And I don't think we've ever seen that before in Survivor to that degree.
Right. And then, you got we left out the Orange Tribe a little bit. You got Hunter, who's like, everything's just gone really well for me my whole life. It's just been really good. And it will continue to keep going very well for me.
He's like, I got a full ride to medical school. I could have become a doctor. I was like, no, I think I'll do something else. Why not?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's fine. Just do it creatively. Or not creatively, well, maybe creatively, but like soulfully fulfilling career of teaching kids science.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been enjoying it so far. I hope people lighten up on it, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And we didn't even talk, well, we briefly talked about Venus with the random evac, but like Venus is like a really, interesting and compelling character too. and I'm like, I assume she goes far because like the amount that the show is invested into her, when like she's otherwise been relatively, unremarkable is a lot. So I assume she makes the merge and like is a major player.
Right.
And maybe
she's the type of player you make the merge. It's like, ooh, gonna be hard to convince anyone to vote her off after the merge.
Yeah, and she has like this predetermined expectation of potentially flipping on Nami. So I think that there's like a lot of room to like wiggle there. Like maybe the reason that Sega is able to like come out on top in a post-merge scenario is because somebody like Venus is able to flip and Sega is able to stay like this kumbaya family vibe for long enough. So
and Venus is will be like, I hate these people so much. I've hated them since the moment I've met all of them.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of weird vibes on this season. I think like people are conflating weird vibes with bad vibes. But I'm enjoying it. So we'll see.
Definitely. Well, I guess other than that, where can they find you online? What do you want to promote? Floor is yours.
Yeah. Well, I promised one tweet an episode, and I haven't fulfilled that. I did not tweet about this episode.
Right.
But you can, I guess, follow me at Ben Sharon there. Like I said, I deleted Twitter from my phone, so I don't really use it anymore.
I'm so impressed. I'm literally like the the Kylo Ren meme where it's like, I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. That's me with my addiction to social media and Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, look, you just I found it easy to just do it, and then like if you want, you can just re-download it later. Like it doesn't matter. Like
True.
And it's improved my life so far, so I'm keeping it that way.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
As for me, you can follow me on Twitter at the fake BMR, BMARR. I don't tweet that much, but I am there, lurking, liking, retweeting, all that. Other than that, main channel, Wicked Good Everything. I've been doing some streams on there, playing some Helldivers. It's been very fun. I made a TikTok just for stream clips. So, Ben, if you get out there streaming again, we'll clip stuff, put it on there. That's WGE was live on TikTok and Instagram. I don't really get Instagram. Also, I hate it. But they're thinking about outlawing TikTok, so I figured I might as well just start uploading to Instagram as well. And then, this is Better Radio, and we also have a sports channel, Wicked Good Sports. That's also on TikTok if you're interested. But having good numbers on there. I've been just sitting in front of the green screen, talking into my Wicked Good Everything microphone about the happening. Yeah, I thought so. It was the purple and then like the little sticker, and it's fun. It's been fun, just talking about free agency in the NFL and that kind of stuff. Little clips.
A lot of big moves.
A lot of it, yeah. You had the low of when the Dolphins lost a lot of their players, and then they signed a lot of players the last couple of days. So, will it even out? We'll see.
Yeah.
But I was in despair at one point. I was like Banu, just crying on the table. But yeah, so check out all of those, and other than that, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.